Tonight's mailbag pairs well with Get Up Off of That Thang, a soulful brown ale from Devil May Care Brewing in Winnipeg. Oh, I guess we'll start with this one that just fell off the pile of mail. What does it say? It says electronic components. Right. Seems reasonable. Lots of bubbles. Transistors of some kind. Oh, they're not transistors. These are Dallas temperature sensors. Okay. I played with one of these in a video some time back when I was looking at a whole bunch of modules that came in an assortment kit. These are what's called a one-wire temperature sensor. You power them plus and minus, like everything, and then there's one wire that acts as both transmit and receive for data. And you can parallel these up in a huge bunch over a fair distance. Each one has a unique serial number in it, so when you're setting everything up, you poll them one at a time and identify the serial number, and then you just address each one individually. 10/20/50 pieces, DS18B20, TO92, 9 to 12-bit temperature sensor, Dallas thermometer sensor. These are currently selling for $3.78 Canadian with $2.51 shipping. One cool thing about them is they've got up to 12 bits of precision, which is pretty impressive for a little tiny temperature sensor like that. Or you can configure them to a little bit lower precision level if you choose, if you don't need that. They communicate over that one-wire interface. And actually, yeah, you don't really need the power wire. You can use it, but you can power it through the data wire if you choose to. That's a little bit more complex. I'm not sure whether I will do that. Maybe as a demonstration. I'm not sure. What do you think? Maybe. Anyway, so yeah, you can communicate with these things using only one wire and ground. Next thing in came from a Canadian address, so I can't tell what lies are happening here. Oh, there's a few things. A couple of things anyways. Okay. First is this little microcontroller looking thing. What are you? Huh. That's PS2 keyboard and mouse. That's VGA. That guy calls itself a Micro 32. And there it calls itself a VGA 32. Ah, I remember. Another maker showed a project with this type of a board on it. So you can use this guy. Well, he was using it as a prank device, which was pretty slick. I'll link to that video up there. You'll get a giggle out of that. But I thought it was just a cool device, and being able to interface with, a VGA monitor or a mouse or keyboard to take inputs, or looks like it's got an audio output as well. That just seemed like a versatile little board should a guy want to play with that kind of stuff. So I figured I'd grab one. LilyGo TTGo VGA 32 1.4 controller, PS2 mouse and keyboard controller, graphics library, game engine, ANSI VT video terminal for ESP32. Wow, $20. Did I really pay $20 for that? Maybe that's... Back when I ordered it, it was closer to $15, but whatever. We all know this story by now. Free shipping though, yay! So here's the specs. I will slowly scroll through those so that you can read them, because reading a long list of specs is boring as hell. But basically, it's what we saw. It's got VGA, it's got a PS2 keyboard, it's got a PS2 mouse, it's got Wi-Fi, it's got battery connection on it. It's got USB on it. Where did I see that up here somewhere? Yeah, it's got a CH9102 USB chip on it. It speaks all these different protocols, which is standard ESP32 stuff, really. But yeah, it can just put out a relatively low-res VGA signal, which for something like that is pretty impressive. As I said, another maker had a cool little project with this specific board, and BitLooney's been playing with ESP32 to VGA interfaces of a different style, and he's got some pretty impressive graphics out of it. So I think at some point I might want to play with this, and now when the mood strikes me, I've got it, so I can do that. also from the same seller. Oh, hey, this is those in-ear monitor earbuds that I ordered the wrong ones of, and so reordered. And I think these, I'm hoping, are the ones that will go with the Bluetooth module that I got some months ago. So what's in there? We got a cable in there. We got some extra ear pads, ear pucks, ear inserts. How is that stuck in there? Wow. So there are the little in-ear pieces, and I'm assuming this is a little braided style cable for them, but that's not how I plan to use these ones. Yeah, that's a nice super flexible silicone braided cable. This one is just listen. It doesn't have the microphone on the cable. Where's my other one? Yeah, here's the other one that I got some months back. It's got a microphone on the cable, but the earpieces are not removable from the cable, so that's incompatible with the Bluetooth thing that I got when I got that. This one, on the other hand, as you can see, the cable is removable. Now, where's that Bluetooth thing? Here it is, and I already had it charged up and everything, which is cool. I'll link to the mailbag where I got these things before up there. But this should go. That one is the left one. Which one is the left one here? I hope they're labeled. They should be. I guess I can just compare them against the shape of the other ones. So that one is the left one. Okay. This one is the left one here. I think I had, yeah. So these go over your ear. Bonk. That goes over your ear to hold it in place, so it really doesn't bounce out. And these are actually designed in this form factor. They're designed for musicians on stage, so they're loud. They've got good fidelity to them, and they stay in place. And they're nice and lightweight too. Wow. I've been using these other ones for walking the dog just with an MP3 player, but I kind of missed the Bluetooth being able to listen to podcasts and stuff while I'm walking the dog, because we all know modern phones don't have 3.5 millimeter jacks. Boo, hiss, evil. So also from Banggood, the KZ ZST X Hi-Fi earphone 3.5 millimeter jack, earbuds, balanced armature, dynamic drivers, in-ear bass earphone, headphone for iPhone, laptop, computer, purple with mic or without mic is the ones that I got. $25 Canadian, 64 pennies shipping. Wow. And as I mentioned before, they are fairly good sounding. They're designed for musicians, so they have a pretty wide range. They have a good sensitivity. Ooh, all kinds of fancy engineering going on inside them. And the fancy braided cable that I'm not going to use very often. Package number 3. It says, screw, 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 screw. I wonder if it's got screws in it. Yeah, it does. Fairly big ones, too. These are some nice, lengthy... I'm going to guess that these are metric screws. I got a couple of different bags of nuts here as well. Let's just take them out and see. Ooh, they're greasy. Yuck. So I'm going to guess that these are all the same size, which would make sense. And by process of elimination off camera, they are definitely M5. So I think the reason that I bought, well, I mean, I've been building up my metric hardware collection for a while. So what I got them for was these little printed knobbly bits that I printed up for the camera mounts. I'm going to have to drill things out a little bit. But then those can be used with the printed accessories. That needs to drill down into there a little bit more. But anyways, you get the idea. Those can be used in addition to these or to replace these. And these are also M5. And I've got these nuts here. I got the flat nuts and I've got nylock nuts. And then 2 different lengths of screws. So 2 different lengths of screws because there's different lengths of knobby things. So that's what those are for. Plus just to slowly build up my hardware collection of metric hardware. 1/50 times M3, M4, M5, M6, M8 hex hexagon socket cap head Allen screw, bolt length between 4 and 250 millimeters. I'm not going to go through all the prices here, but I could have got them either in black or stainless. Stainless was a hair more expensive, so I went with the greasy black. Probably should have gone with the stainless in retrospect, but whatever. And there's a whole list of different sizes. There's going to be a lot of different vendors have these. This one happens to be Luck Cheng 1990. I just went with him because he was a good combination of cheapest and had made a lot of sales over the years, so was probably pretty reliable. Of course, there's not too much to see down here other than just the manufacturer's specs on the measurements of the things if you wanted some very specific numbers. Next in is this one, which came from a Canadian warehouse of one of the overseas sellers, so I can't really tell what it is, but a couple of boxes inside there. Okay. That one's wedged in there pretty solidly. Small one first? Sure. It's a claw. A little clampy claw. That is the kind of thing that you get with camera accessories, which means I think I know what's in this box. Yes, it is another Magic Arm. I was hoping this one was be a little bit different than the existing one that I've got, but it looks like it is exactly the same, so that's not too exciting. These things, just for a refresher, this one knob locks all the different motion gimbals, and you've got all kinds of rotational freedom in it. You can go fully like that, and this little guy can go anywhere around like that too. So you clamp one end onto here into these screw threads, and the other end has multiple little adapters for various different camera-like accessories, all in 1/4-20 world, so that would just go onto a camera. This is a female to female in case you needed a stud mount instead. And then there is this piece that goes on and can be a hot shoe mount. Hot shoe being, a thing that's on top of old school cameras, and increasingly these days on DSLRs and whatnot is used to clamp onto various different photography accessories. 11-inch friction articulating Magic Arm plus super clamp clip crab pliers for camera LED. Yeah, so for cameras, or you remember those LED photography lights, those little tiny ones that I got a few mailbags back? Yeah, this will work with them too, so I might end up using this for that. Anyways, this one cost me $21.58 Canadian with free shipping from, oh man, why do these guys make their names so hard to pronounce? There are a few different variants on this theme, and I was kind of hoping that this one would be one of them. I tried ordering a couple of other ones, and those orders got canceled, so I ended up with this one, which is perfectly fine. I've used it for quite a while, and I like it, so I'm not bothered that I've got another identical one. And then, you may have noticed at the beginning, there is a ridiculously huge package here. It feels like it's got a couple of things in it, so let's just tear in it and see what we got here. Thing one comes in this nice little case. Well, case anyway. Oh, hey. Okay, I remember now. This is the sponsored stuff from Banggood that I ordered or requested from them, and they happily shipped along for my review demonstration, showing off to you and whatnot. So this is an automatic stripper. We've seen these before. This one seems to be at least as good, maybe a little bit more solid than the one that Kaiwit sent. But the main reason that I ordered this guy is for this little ratcheting crimper here with multiple replacement dies of various different sizes, including these teeny tiny ones, which I'm hoping are the appropriate ones for doing JST connectors and DuPont size pin headers or header pins. There's this default set of dies, which is from 0.5 millimeter up to 1.5 millimeter square. There's a little screwdriver for changing out the dies. There's this one, which goes from 1/4 millimeter up to 6 millimeter squared. There's these larger ones for 2.5 to 5 millimeter squared. There's this set, which is from 0.25 to 1 millimeter squared. And then there's this one, which is the color-coded, insulated automotive style crimps, color-coded in red, blue, and yellow. You know, for these style of crimps, right? Everybody's familiar with those, I think. So as I said, this is a sponsored item from Banggood. These are Perron JX-D5301 multifunctional ratcheting crimping tool wire strippers terminal pliers kit. At the moment, they are going for $62.32 Canadian with $3.27 shipping. But here is the description of them. Apparently they're made from manganese steel. There's the size. There is the various different dies that they come with. And then here is the contents of the kit. I think that will probably come in handy, and I look forward to especially experimenting with the smaller crimping dies to see if I can get those pin header type crimps and the JST crimps to a place where they're consistent. Because right now that default set of jaws that came on the previous one that I had is just a little bit too loose for those. So I'm hoping these smaller jaws will do the magic. And there is the other thing that Banggood sent me in the same package. I've got a pretty good idea what it is because, you know, I asked for these things. This is a vacuum desoldering solder sucker tool. It's essentially this and this combined into one unit. It's got its own electric vacuum pump in there, and it sucks the solder up into this little chamber here. Let's just pop that out. You can see where the molten solder lands in there, and there's a bit of a mesh filter in the back so that it doesn't get in and pollute the pump. So the way it does its magic is it is essentially a soldering gun, but the tip is hollow. So the vacuum from the pump can pull the molten solder up and into the little chamber that we saw a second ago, and yeah, suck all the solder out of the hole. We have a temperature adjustment down on the handle. Okay, so as low as 350 or as high as 450 Celsius. Wow, that'll really burn the solder out. So that is kind of a luxury tool from my point of view. I've never worked in a shop that's had one. I've never had one myself. I've always preferred these kind of solder suckers. I know tons of you guys swear by the solder wick, and it's okay. I don't mind it, but I am interested to see if this will up my game. S993A US plug 110 to 130 volt electric solder sucker soldering iron desoldering gun. Currently they are selling them for $165 Canadian with $230 shipping. The picture has the Australian plug on it, but the listing is for the one with the North American plug, so just pay attention to which one. There are multiple versions of them available. What do we say about it down here? Rapid heating function up to 100 or 350 degrees. Yeah. 110 volts. Yeah. The vacuum is a vibrating membrane pump. It's a 100-watt device. 10 watts of that comes from the vacuum and 90 comes from the heating core. Its temperature range, as we saw, is between 350 and 450 Celsius. It takes only 0.2 seconds to get to maximum pressure. I mean, I guess that means suction, but whatever. It can work continuously. Yeah, what else do you need to say about it? Included in the package is the tool itself, the stand, a couple of cleaner needles, a gun adapter. What is the gun adapter? I see no gun adapter, but the other things that come in it are a couple of extra little filter pads to go in the solder receiver chamber thing there. So if you guys want to see more about this thing, see me put it through its paces and whatnot, let me know down below. Otherwise, I see that Electronics and More also has done a video on this same thing, so you might want to check out his video. Wow, wow, wow. What a mailbag this week. Shipping times for the stuff that I ordered. The Dallas temperature sensors. Where'd those little guys land? There they are. Those took 28 days to get here. This TTGO board and these in-ear monitors from Banggood that I bought. These weren't part of the promotional thing. That's my own cash. Those took 36 days. The Magic Arm took 16 days because it came from a Canadian warehouse. And all this M5 hardware here took 18 days, again, from a Canadian warehouse. And of course, Banggood shipped this stuff through their regional warehouses, so it will show up fairly quickly no matter where in the world you're ordering it, I assume. Yeah, so obviously this stuff is all going to get used for its various purposes. The temperature sensors I'm interested in. I was thinking of doing a garage temperature monitoring project, because I've noticed even though my garage is not insulated, the indoor and outdoor temperature is significantly different. So I wouldn't mind dropping one of those on the inside of the wall, one on the outside of the wall, and just see what's going on. Maybe with an ESP to talk to it. I don't know. This, I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for yet, but it's one of those you'd rather have it and need it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? But that video of another makers that I linked to earlier and I'll link to down below is what inspired me to get that. This Magic Arm, always useful when you're doing YouTube to have extra camera gubbins to hold cameras and things. Listening to and enjoying podcasts and music while walking the dog in Bluetooth with really good quality. These nuts and bolts are nuts and bolts for the camera mounts, as I said. Tools, yay. If you want to see me go into any more detail on any of these things, let me know down below. I'll do a dedicated video on them if you want. Questions and comments also down below in the comment section. You know the drill. You've been on YouTube long enough. Thanks to my Patreon supporters for helping me keep the lights on around here, keep the beer fridge full, yay, and keep the mailbags rolling in. Thanks also to my YouTube channel members for doing exactly the same thing in a different way. Thanks to Banggood for sending me these two things to play with. I will put links to them down below as always. Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to you later.